The hardest part, in my opinion, when you are raising and breeding animals is when it comes to the selling part. Because I'm constantly second guessing myself if I'm making the right decision, if the correct animals are being deemed as leaving or not. And I have literally been out here for an hour poring over my list of ewe lambs and ewes I would like to rehome, trying to ensure that I am valuing them appropriately so that a few months down the road, I don't have seller's remorse. Obviously, once that animal is gone, there's no getting them back. There was one time that I sold a heifer that I regretted and I bought her back, and it ended up being a tire fire anyway. There's an entire series on that animal alone. I guess that's a good thing when you have sheep that are of such good quality that you would love to keep them all. Unfortunately, I do have to sell a good chunk of them because I just don't have the space. I will know better tomorrow how many ewe lambs I will have left and ram lambs. Although she's only picking up one. I do have quite a few customers this year that are requesting castrated males, aka wethers, because they want to finish them out for their own freezers. I did notice one surprise while I was out here today. The Gibraltar ram, this big guy, was chasing this white ewe, 575 I believe is her number. And you can see that he's marked her quite a bit. So let me show you him. As you can see, the Gibraltar ram has a marking harness on. If you look at him closely, many sheep breeders elect to do this. So that way they know what ram covered what ewe and when to expect their babies to be born. You can see that he's obviously still chasing her, but he has marked her up very well. So the color crayon that he has on between his front legs, if you kind of look as he's walking, you can see it, is red, and you can change out the color in that harness. So if you have more than one breeding ram in with a flock, you know who's mating with who. Now, the one wild card here is obviously my intact ram lambs are still in here, and they're right before that 4-month mark. So before they turn 4 months old, I typically will castrate them or separate them from the flock so that we don't end up with any accidental babies out of males that we don't want them from. As I like to say, just because they have those reproductive organs does not mean that they should use them. And that's the responsible thing to do when you are breeding and selling livestock, is ensuring that the genetics being passed on to the next generation are in fact good genetics, and that you are doing improvements to the breed or species versus the opposite. And I say that, and I love to educate people on this because there are a lot of uneducated people in agriculture that don't really, they have animals, they know how to keep animals, but they don't really understand what the whole end game is, right? Your goal while you're breeding livestock, aside from making more babies that you can put in your freezer, is to make a better next generation. And if the traits that that animal possesses are not going to contribute to a better next generation, then they shouldn't be used for that. So when I go through next week to split out the ram lambs that I deem of reproductive potential, that's typically what I keep in mind. What does the size look like, the quality, the coloring, although color, you can't eat color, but some people, that's like a be-all, end-all. And is that animal superior in genetic quality compared to its counterparts? There's a train coming through the swamp. That rarely happens when we are actually out here, but I am done poring over the value of my livestock. It is time to go back and start making dinner. So if you have any questions about anything that I mentioned, please let me know.